Hello, I'm Tope Hassan, and you're welcome to Let's Talk. On today's episode, we'll be discussing the question, should a Christian drink alcohol? I know, the debate is as old as ever, and there's a wide spectrum of opinion on this. Never drink but do not get drunk. My guests today to help handle this discussion are already in the house. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
On my far right, I have David Mbelu. David is a business developer and he's an apostle in the marketplace. Next to David is Tope Hassan. She's a wife, a mother, an RCCG minister, a lawyer, and an accredited mentor. And sitting just beside me is Ben Ogbadu. Ben is a seasoned HR practitioner in the oil and gas sector and is also a minister in the church. So you're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
We're looking at this sometimes very explosive topic, even in Christianity. Should a Christian drink alcohol or not? I would want us to start today by looking at what are some of the reasons why people drink, and then what, in our own opinion, are the reasons why people should not drink. I would really want us to also come from the angle of what does God think? So David, could you tell us reasons why sometimes Christians drink?
Some of the reasons why Christians drink can be due to peer pressure, or when they go for social events, when they go for weddings. Basically, when alcohol is served,
It's available.
It's available. You know, you may call it, I'm a casual drinker once in a while. So I think that's really where, you can
Excellent contribution. So Tope.
Oh, well, I think that some people drink because they feel that the alcohol will help them to ease their pain. Maybe they drink when they are sorrowing or when they are worried. Yeah. Surprisingly, some people even drink when they are broke. Meanwhile, they're actually spending money to buy that drink. So the drink gives them a kind of temporary relief from life's issues, rather than actually tackling the issues.
Excellent.
Yeah.
People drink to marry, sometimes out of peer pressure, and I have found myself in that kind of situation where I was with my boss and I didn't feel like saying no, so
drank small.
Something like that, So peer pressure, social gathering. Sometimes they may not necessarily be your peer, but everybody that you are around with, it seems like the right thing to do. So you just wanted to feel like
social drinking.
Social drinking, more like it. Yes.
I would just want to add one. Some people drink because they really believe there's nothing wrong in it. Just cut the border at getting drunk. So I can drink up to a point where I'm just about to get drunk and then I stop. So these are all reasons why people drink. So now we're looking at why do you think a Christian should not drink? Can I start with Tope?
Okay, thank you. The reasons why people shouldn't drink. Because wine is a mocker. Most of the time when you drink, you may not be able to draw the line and you will get drunk. And when you get drunk, you embarrass yourself. You lose your sense of reasoning, your sense of morality, your sense of decency. And you shouldn't drink because wine is not for kings. If I talk about the Bible, if you look at the book of Proverbs 31, from 4 to 7, you see the advice from King Lemuel's mom to him. She said, wine is not for kings. Oh, Lemuel, it's not for kings. When you drink, you will forget the law. And we are a generation of kings and priests. And for that, I believe you should decide your level. Do you want to be a king? Then don't drink. Do you want to be a subject? Then drink.
Why do you say we're kings?
Because the Bible says in the book of Hebrews that we are kings and priests. And if you look at the Old Testament, when there were specific priests and specific kings, the lineage of priests were specifically told not to drink. If you look at John the Baptist, even at the time he was born, his parents were told not to let him have any strong drink or wine. So kings do not drink.
Have you seen a practical example where somebody was drinking and could not draw the line?
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. Because wine is a mocker. Wine is a mocker. I have some friends, a friend, not even a Christian. He went out with some other friends for a night party, and they got home, and the next morning they all woke up and they couldn't remember who drove the car.
Who?
Yes. And that just showed that you don't have your senses right. And then some people who even want to perpetrate crimes, they get you drunk because they know you would lose your senses. So wine is a mocker, and is not something that Christians should actually toy with.
Thank you so much. Ben, can we?
Okay. Why should people not drink?
Not drink.
Should Christians not drink?
Okay.
First is you want to ask yourself, of what benefit is wine to me? What does it do to my body? Mm-hmm. Does it make me finer? Does it give me vitamins? Mm-hmm. So that's from one angle. If it does not have any therapeutic value for me, so without even going scriptural, if it's just something I put into my mouth because it either makes me feel high or I want to just feel good or identify with a group, then it means that it is not good enough because it's not adding value to me. If one scripture keeps coming to my mind, and that is the book of 1 Corinthians 6 and 10, which says that all things are expedient, but not all things are lawful. All things are expedient, but I will not be brought under the power of anything. Now, 1 Corinthians 10 further takes it further to say, all things edify not. Okay. And like Tope has said, if you check scripture, anybody that God plans to use,
He always tells them,
or anybody that God plans to use or plans to get intimate with, it makes it very clear ab initio that you should avoid wine and strong drink. Wine is a spirit. And if you're going to carry the Spirit of God in you, you cannot have a contrary spirit contending for control of that vessel. There can be only one spirit in that.
Thank you. Before I move to David, you said one of the reasons why people might say they want to drink is because they want to feel good. How would you respond to that? Because people say that when I take wine, it just makes me feel good. I feel happy. And I'm not getting drunk, but I just feel calm and relaxed.
It's a mindset thing. In school, when I was in my final year in school, my friends drank. So I tried to drink. And then it was beer. My dad drank. Mm-hmm. And his friends drank. So I grew up in a family where people drink.
Drank.
You understand? So, and I tried to taste beer, and I wonder, is this thing that they say they are drinking 6 bottles, 7 bottles? Yeah. When I got into the corporate world, I tried wine. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's my taste bud, I don't know. But one thing I know is it never got to me because the taste did not work for me at all. So this issue of it makes me feel good is a mindset. So the same way beer can make A feel good, it's the same way malt will make me feel good. Okay. So it's a thing of the mind.
You can decide on what makes you feel good.
Exactly. So the moment you come to a point of knowledge, that initial knowledge that this thing makes me feel good is erroneous, you will find that even your reaction to it will change. It's a thing of the mind.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. David.
It's difficult to draw the line between when you're not at the point or at the tipping point, as against when you're just having a casual drink. When it comes to alcohol, it's very difficult to have self-control, and I think that's the reason why Christians should not drink. Yes.
Thank you, David. I want to give us an example, one that sticks with me till today. We had an outing. There's this gentleman, I know him, serious Christian, responsible, reliable, intelligent. We got to that dinner, and he took a sip, another sip, another sip, another sip. Suddenly, I saw this man that I respected so much in a totally different light. Started talking loudly, shouting, saying, okay, let's dance. You know, get up. This is somebody that is very reserved. And that day, I think I learned a lesson from that day. I don't think when he started drinking, which is what you've all said, I don't think when he started drinking, he told himself, today, I'm going to get drunk. I don't think so. But I think, what do you think also, David, about people who are alcoholic, who eventually become alcoholics?
So a lot of the times when people drink to the point of getting addicted to it, it's because they are probably in a company of people who are already accepting that behavior. So if you have friends that drink and every day it's a habit that after work you go out to drink, you will most likely after some time become an alcoholic.
Yeah, because you're doing it every day, with your friends. You're doing it regularly.
And if you're around those type of people, even the days where you don't have resources to buy the alcohol, your friends will buy it for you because all of you will drink it together.
Because, yes.
You know, so nobody just becomes an alcoholic alone.
It's a
gradual by choice.
Yes, it's a gradual.
Yes, and even in cases where people who are going through one sort of depression or the other, and then they start to drink, you find out that those habits are more or less there out of maybe a particular unfortunate incident that happened. Okay. You know, so sometimes even Christians may find themselves, because they are depressed, they resort to alcohol.
Yeah.
You understand? And it doesn't mean that tomorrow, if things get better, they will now be addicted.
Be able to stop.
Stop, yes.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much, David. One point I would like us to look at very quickly, because you mentioned it, is the fact that how do we deal with this issue of social drinking? I'd like to hear from you, because I believe that by virtue of our position, we've all experienced the pressure of social drinking. You're going for a meeting, you want to close a deal, and somebody is saying, take wine, and you're finding it difficult to say, no, sir, I won't take it. Tope, can I know what you feel about? How can you say no? If you say no, you're going to lose the deal. You think you might lose the deal. So how can you say no?
I don't think you would lose the deal.
Okay.
I think that your colleagues, your bosses, or your clients would actually respect that, the fact that you can make your own stand and insist on it.
Thank you so much. And permit me, but I'll give you a very practical example. I determined at a point that I was not going to take alcohol again. No taste, no sip, nothing. It was a personal decision. So I had this meeting, these kind of meetings that you talk about, and the person was a foreigner, and it was like, drink, you have to drink. There were like 6 or 7 of us. I said, no, sir, I don't drink. Pardon me, I'll just take water. Can I just take water? There's white wine, there's red wine, there's this one. I said, sorry, it's a personal choice. What I found later on is that when we have that meeting later, by the time we sit down and they say, no, don't give it to her, she doesn't drink. He was the one that, and it did not affect the business at all.
In the course of my career, I deal with people of all types, executives, management, and the likes of them. Now, I've come to realize that as a human resource practitioner, you are typically not liked, because sometimes people don't know where you sit, whether on the side of management or on the side of staff. But I've come to realize that, and motivational speakers also say that, you've got to be able to stand for something, or you will fall for anything.
That's true.
And when you take a position on something, like you did, people may not appreciate your position initially, but naturally, if that position is not counterproductive to a common objective,
they will accept it.
They will accept it,
yes.
And sometimes you now become a model for which that decision or line of action will be adopted.
I've also seen cases where somebody sits at a table with me at a large meeting and is able to say no because I've said no. Looks at me and said, in the office they call me madam. Say, if madam can say no, I join with madam, me too, I would say I will not be able to drink. Tope, are there any other reasons you can think of? I
would just like to remind us of some Bible stories. One is about Lot and his daughters. We all know the story of how he ended up in a cave with his daughters, and his daughters felt like they had to have children, and the only available man was their father. The word is not drug now. They intoxicated their dad. They made him to drink until he got drunk to the point that he slept with his daughters. Yeah. That is so horrible, really.
And while you're on that, I think somebody mentioned something which I want to bring out, is that usually if people want to do evil with you, they want you to commit a crime. Sometimes even if a man has been trying to maybe sleep with a girl and she's saying no, just get her drunk and then her reflexes are down. Excellent.
Yeah, even the story of Noah, we know how he had a vineyard, and then he started to drink a little more, a little wine here and there, and he got drunk and he was naked. So you see, wine actually makes you, it mocks you. Yes, you lose your defense, you lose your respect, your self-respect when you drink, and you will not know where to draw the line.
David, is there something you would like to add to this?
No, I actually think I'm learning from this.
Excellent.
And then also, I think we didn't touch on the health aspect.
Health, excellent.
I think that, wine again, strong drink, it doesn't do more. I understand that, this local ogogoro, the test for the originality is actually to strike a match into it, and then it will go up in blue flames. And then you're thinking, you're putting such a thing into the temple of God.
I like that, where the temple of God, 1, 2. When you look at the liver works hard. Every time you take alcohol, the liver has to work hard to get it out of your system.
One more thing. A lot of driving accidents actually happen under the influence of alcohol. We don't do good record keeping here, but if you go to the United States or the United Kingdom, you find out at Christmas time when people drink a lot, you'll have a lot of road accidents. And people lose their lives because somebody else drank. I think that's really sad.
Thank you so much for all our comments, for all our inputs. This session has been short, but I think we've come up with very, very cogent examples and reasons for and against. And I think it's left for everybody to make a choice. And in making the choice, one question I always ask myself when it comes to alcohol is that, in the sight of God and regarding the relationship between me and God, in this area of drinking, what do I gain? What does it add to my relationship with God? If it doesn't add anything, rather if it has the potential to subtract from my relationship with God, like I think one or two people here did say that every time God called somebody and he wanted to have an intimate relationship with them, he would say, do not drink. There are too many things against alcohol. It doesn't add value to our lives. I can be bold to say that. Without saying right or wrong, can I even give this thing up for the sake of God, for the sake of my testimony? And I'll round up with this story. There was a time I went out for a dinner in the early days, and they served wine. In the days where I was not wise enough to say no to social drinking, they served wine, and I took a sip. The moment I took that sip, somebody across the table, I don't know if the person was watching me, somebody across the table said, Tope, I thought you were a Christian. Just like that. And I couldn't say anything. So that day I made up my mind that for the sake of my testimony, I don't want anybody to say, I thought you called yourself a Christian. I will just let it go. God bless you. Thank you very much for coming. I think it's been insightful. God bless you mightily. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure.